I just want someone that's really going to do well with the team and have a good dynamic so that there are no drama. I don't like drama on my teams. And
people's skills easier to fix than somebody's attitude.
I agree 100% with that. Yep.
Is it possible to lead a winning team to Vegas if you're too afraid to fire a volunteer? Pulling together a Vegas dream team is every APA captain's goal, but the reality of balancing the vibes and the scores is a continuous challenge. In this week's episode of the Lucky Breaks podcast, we talk to 6 seasoned captains about the trials and tribulations of putting together a winning APA team. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome, everyone, to the next edition of the Lucky Breaks podcast. I am thrilled to be with this amazing panel of fellow APA captains. That is going to be the subject of our episode today, and we can't wait to get into it. Before we do, we're actually going to introduce ourselves and talk about our history with APA captaining. It is a vocation, a calling, some might say, to be a captain in the APA. So I'll get us started, and then the rest of our guests will tell us about themselves. Okay, so I have been playing in the APA since 1999, and I became a captain after my first session. And I was asked to be a captain because the captain was leaving town. I was just a skill level 3. I didn't know what I was doing, but I figured it out. My favorite team name, so we'll also give our favorite team name of teams that we've been on, was one of my most recent ones was the Do-Overs. So we had a double Jeopardy team, and so we got to choose 2 names. So one team was the Mulligans, and one team was the Do-Overs. And I thought that was a pretty fun combo of team names. So, all right, Sean, why don't you get us started with the next one?
Okay. Well, I've been playing, I started in Connecticut.
Start with your name,
2004.
sorry.
I'm Sean. 2004, I started in Connecticut. I was there for about a year, moved out to Chula Vista area, and within another year, wanted to start my own team, so I became a captain there. But then I actually got recruited to be a captain of another team because they were just in need of somebody with a little organization. They just wanted to drink and have fun. So yeah, that team actually was one of the best team names, Average Joes.
Ooh, good.
Yeah, had some other ones. I mean, plenty of other ones. My other personal favorite I was the captain of was Stuck in the 80s.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I've got plenty more, but
Yeah.
those are 2 good ones.
Erin?
Well, I'm Erin, and I have been in the APA for about 10 years. I started in 2015, and 5 years in, I was thrown into being a captain on one of the teams because the captain wanted to leave. And they're like, you do it. And I was just a 3. I didn't really know what I was doing, but just jumped in and took over because I really liked the team and I wanted to keep it going. And that's one of the team names I actually liked. It was a team that was created. It was a bunch of Brazilians that were on the team. And so their team name was How's My English? Because English was their second language. Yeah. And then a few more people joined the team, and I ended up helping take over that one for a while is how I got started. But my second favorite team name, because I love to play safeties, is my 9-ball team called Safety First.
Hi, I'm Mark. I have been in the APA since 2008, and in 2009, I joined in an 8-ball team in 2008, and then I got thrown into a double Jeopardy team a couple seasons later, and I found out I liked 9-ball, but that team was dissolving, and so I needed to find another 9-ball team to join, and I could not find one. We didn't have the social media that we have today back then. And so I formed my own team in 2009, and I am still captaining that team today.
Is that Breakin' Fun?
That is Breakin' Fun.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm sorry, what was the other question?
The favorite team name.
Oh, favorite team name was a doubles team that I was on with you.
Love it.
Which is Schrodinger's Cats. And we called it that because with us, you never know what you're going to get.
That's true. So true.
All right. My name is Michelle, and I've been in the APA since 2022. Not even a year into APA. I would say I was more voluntold into the captain role. Somebody had an idea to put together a 9-ball team, which I had never played before. And when we just about as we were going to start the session, I was told you're going to be captaining this. So at first, yeah, I was a skill level 3 as well at the time, and I didn't know what I was doing either, but had some, I think, natural ability to organize, and um, it wasn't very simple, I think, in the very beginning. But that team that we joined was called Baxter and Company 3.0. So it is the third team in a family of teams. And Baxter is our mascot. So he is an Australian cattle dog, super cute. And even though his owner's not on our team anymore, we have kept the name. And we are a family of 3 teams that all play out of pockets.
Oh, nice.
Billiards and brew.
Cool.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I've been a part of the APA around the same time as Michelle, around 2021, 2022. Started off in the APA very green, didn't even know how to bridge. Was a 1-2, and became a captain just recently, within the last 2 sessions. A really important mentor of mine said, hey, everyone always calls you Team Mom. I think this would be a good experience for you. Why don't you join why don't you be a captain? That way someone can pick you up for captain's tournament too.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it was a really good learning experience. And I think a favorite team name is going to have to be, I'm not a part of the team anymore, but it's Re-Rack City, just because I think it's funny. Big shout outs to Re-Rack City.
Nice. That is a good name.
Love
it. Cool. Well, so some people in our audience may not be playing the APA, the American Pool Player Association. That's still what it's called, right? Yeah. Okay. Even though it's global now. But yeah, so why don't we tell the audience what do we mean when we say you're an APA captain? Sean, why don't you tell us what the mechanics are of being an APA captain?
Okay. So there are different kinds of teams as well, but for the most part, it's teams of 8 people. You can have as few as 5 people on the team. Somebody has to turn in paperwork, or now it's online. Somebody has to take all the money in and turn that in as well. Keep score, which can be anybody else, but you have to make sure somebody's doing it. Setting lineups, or at least countering the opposing team's lineups. Kind of being the face of the team. If anything goes on, maybe your opponents, they have to call and try to reschedule something. So it's a lot of organizational skills and everything.
Yeah. So that's what it means kind of mechanically. But clearly we're doing it because we love it or because we're really good at it. What does being a team captain mean for you? And everyone can maybe tell us.
For me, I like finding new people to bring in and kind of getting a team that meshes well together. You kind of want to set some kind of expectation of the team. Some teams are really competitive and you want to bring people like-minded, or if you're just there to have fun and if you win, great, then get some people like that too.
Erin, how about you?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of similar. I really like bringing people together and building a team where all the personalities get along, and we're kind of there both to compete, but also to have a good time. And I like to matchmake pool people with teams. So I do have people often reaching out to me to be like, do you know anyone looking for teams? And I do like to play that role as a matchmaker.
That's a great word for it.
So I enjoy that, and I really like the organizational aspect of it. I have spreadsheets. I go kind of deep into captaining and coordinating schedules and things.
How many people have spreadsheets here?
I do.
So I really
must love spreadsheets.
Yeah, I love that part of it and the organizational part of it as well.
Yeah, cool. Mark, how about you?
So for me, yeah, I love getting a team that gels. That's the number one. Competitiveness, that's part of it. But for me, I like to make sure that everyone's having fun throughout the season. And for me, the competitiveness comes when it gets to playoffs or beyond, such as cities. And for me, one of the things about being a captain is knowing the rules, because I find a lot of players, especially the ones that aren't captains, but even a lot of captains out there, don't know the rules. So whether it's APA or BCA, I like to make sure I know the rules for the format so that my team can count on me if they have any questions there. And I think I had one more note here. Let's see. Oh, the other thing is just the scheduling, like Erin was saying. I only ask 5 of my players to show up every night on the team of 8. Everybody's welcome to come, but a lot of people have busy lives, and for some it's 20, 30 minutes to drive to the pool hall, and if they're not going to play, they like to know in advance. So I view that as a big duty, and also to let the opposing team know in the rare instance that we can't field 5 people because 4 people are on vacation, give them at least a day advance notice so they don't bring people expecting to play all 5 when we won't have them.
Yeah, cool. Michelle?
I definitely echo the bringing people together. I've been fortunate enough to be on the teams that we're on. We even hang out outside of pool. So we might have during the holidays some social get togethers. And I think that makes that team aspect and dynamic really, really fun. I think my favorite part is watching players get better. So when people join the team, or if I'm trying to recruit someone, we've got some really experienced and skilled players on our rosters. And part of the sell to get them on my team is that we're going to help you get better. We'll spend time with you even outside of league to help you if that's how serious you want to take the sport.
Nice. Nice. How about you?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just being a leader and boosting morale. You know, it's making sure that everyone has fun, is competitive, but on their off days, that it's okay to have a loss every once in a while. And I'm all about the fun part. I love having fun, so I kind of just try to focus on that. I feel like when your team naturally just has really good chemistry, the success follows.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't answer it, but one thing I'll just add, and it didn't come up with Sean's answer about what the mechanics are, but for those who don't know the APA, you have this skill level cap, which kind of comes in to building the team, because you have to keep your skill levels below 23. And that can be difficult as players get better and better and better because they're getting coaches from these other amazing players on the team. And so always kind of keeping that in mind and making sure you have a good balance of people at the different skill level ranges so that you always have, a good balance, a good, people at the lower end and people at the higher end. But that's also part of the challenge because you have to keep recruiting new players into this, someone might call it a pyramid scheme. Because you have to keep this steady pipeline, otherwise you can't field the team. And
Unless you start trading players that match skill levels well.
which
with other
I
teams.
actually think we could do more of.
Yeah, I thought about that too, about
Vendor
doing
match.
trades. Yeah.
Barter.
I've never done it, but it's crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about sort of competitive pool versus pool for fun. And I'll sort of like bounce us around so it's not always us going in a circle. But yeah, so when you think about the teams that you put together and you're asking yourself, okay, is this going to be a competitive team or a fun team? And where do you lie on that spectrum? What do you prioritize? Michelle, I'll start with you.
I definitely want to make sure that our team is having fun first and foremost. But we are competitive. I think you can have both of those aspects. During sort of your normal session, I think there's a lot of flexibility to it's when I create my lineups, I'm not always I'm more trying to get my players experience than I am doing the ideal matchups every single time, even though there is a strategy going into it. And then when things get more competitive, the triannual, the playoffs, that's when the competitive really kicks in for our teams.
Yeah.
But definitely fun first and foremost, especially in this league, APA.
Yeah. Erin, did you want to add something?
Oh, no, I just say I kind of structure everything the same way as I want people to have as much play time as possible. But when it gets down to those higher level tournaments or playoffs or etc., I do take into account how, if somebody generally chokes playing a skill level 5, I'm going to try to avoid that during a higher skill level or a higher tournament.
Yeah.
For sure.
The thing that I always think about, so this is kind of a follow-up question for any of you, is it's not that much fun to lose every week or week after week. And I've definitely been on teams where it feels like for whatever reason, we just lose week after week. And so how do you balance that, right? Because it's easy to say we're there to have fun, but if you're on sort of a losing streak, it starts to become less fun real fast. Anyone have thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, for me, when I'm looking at who wants to play each week,
Yeah.
I literally send out an email to my team 2 days before, and I say, who wants to play this week and who would prefer it off? Now, if most people prefer it off, which is rare, then I will tell people, okay, you need to play, and I might pick based on a strategy who's playing better or whatnot. But usually it's solely based on who wants to play. If someone says, I really want to play, and someone else says, either way, I don't care, and I've got more that want to play, that's who's going to play, and I don't care win or it's more fun winning. I agree with that. But, I mean, this last season, actually, we ended up, out of 14 teams, I think we were in 10th or 12th place. We ended up getting the wild card, and we won the playoffs, and we advanced to the triannual. So that was fun in its own right, and everybody got to play the season how they want to. So that's how I structure it. And then, like Michelle was saying, when it gets to the playoffs, triannuals, all that, that's where I really try to look at everybody's, what are their weaknesses and strengths, and who should play.
Yeah. Anyone else have thoughts about winning, losing, what's fun, what's not fun?
I think I have a question on top of that is, as the captain, if you are on a losing streak, do you schedule yourself out more, or do you have yourself play more?
Has that happened to you, Mark?
In the playoff this last season, I was just in a funk. I mean, I had a lot of personal stuff going on, and all my play in both leagues just went downhill. And when it came to playoffs, I just did not. I said I'm not gonna play. I mean, unless I couldn't field players, and we won. Right choice.
Yeah,
right.
Do it for the team, and it's the same I would have done for anybody else. If I had someone else that did a season like mine, I don't care how much they would have wanted to play in the playoffs. I would have said for the team, we just can't put you in for right now. So
I think losing streaks are worth some analysis, right? So is it, you look at your players, like what their trends are. I definitely take myself out of the lineup too if I'm not feeling it. But I think if you invest in the morale of the team, maybe it's scheduling practices outside, those players that are struggling, maybe it's asking the question, something going on here. Do you want to be here every week right now? Or do you need a break? That can often turn the tables for the team, but you have to be inquisitive about what the issues are, and then be willing to invest some time in your players who might be struggling.
Yeah, I piggyback that. I think that the important thing about being a captain is being aware that we all have personal funks. We all go through our seasons, right? And if your player's not playing, they're not feeling it, then don't play them. But I like that. We're on the same team for Double Jeopardy. We do a lot of the let's go out to eat, let's do something else besides pool, and I think that helps a ton.
Yeah,
There's other thing to do besides pool.
I think we find ourselves back on the pool table very quickly.
Yeah.
After dinner.
Or you look for a pool table, or hey, there's a pool table.
I think what's interesting about this is, and this is something I think that's unique to APA and BCA to a lesser extent, but in the APA teams, it does feel like you have a cohort of people who are all working towards a goal together, and sometimes you have an individual on the team who may be on a losing streak. You want to give them opportunities to get out of the losing streak, because if they never get to play, that doesn't help either. But sometimes you need like a well-rounded team of folks who are there to build that dynamic and that support system. So when you think about the different roles of folks on the team, like what comes to mind? Like what are the kind of people that you want to make sure are on the team to help?
I'll answer that.
Yeah.
I think because I sit more on it's a $10 match. I sit on the less competitive, where I want our team just to have fun. there's some balance to that, right? You need to have competitive people. You need to have people that want to win. So on our Monday team, take for example, they're all fun, but there's a good amount of them that want to make it to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And I like that, and it helps me remember that collectively we're here to work towards one thing, and that's to win. We want to beat our rivalries, so or opponents.
Yeah.
Rivalries. Yeah.
Nice. What other kind of roles on the team? Like we have the coach, but sometimes you need more than just.
I feel like you need like a person that always brings the good morale, like the little, almost like a hype person, but not like overly
The
hype.
cheerleader?
Yeah, the cheerleader. I think that's a good dynamic to have on a team as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just someone to calm someone down when they're stressed. Like, some people are very good at that, and it's always good to have at least one person on the team that can do that.
I definitely need that. I'm on the receiving end of that.
Same here.
Yeah. I've seen you get mad.
Yeah.
Sean, get mad?
I try to intervene. I notice when it's starting to happen, I'm like, okay, jump in now before it
good at it.
spirals. And it's mostly like self-serving because I'm like, when we play doubles, I'm like, no, I need you to be more level because I tend to spiral too. So
Well, I liked what Melissa said is that awareness is like one of the key skills that you need. Not only just organizational skills.
yeah.
Kind of helps when your whole team is open to each other.
Yeah.
If you have that one or two people who are very standoffish, they just show up for their match and then leave, or they sit at the bar all night until it's their turn. That makes it a little tough. So
Yeah.
kind of being good with each other helps.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to have players who are all willing to contribute. So on Monday, I'll be captaining. Sometimes I have my 8-year-old with me, and then I'm playing my match. I've got like 3 things going on at once, and my team is so helpful. They jump in to score when I need it. I have to take him somewhere in the bathroom when he's getting antsy. He wants to go outside. So, and then they're willing to stay a little bit later if I have to leave. So I feel very lucky to have those types of teammates that are willing to even just do scoring or just step in when I can't be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a captain that would do, you play a match, you score a match. And that way everyone has a chance to do both and it's not just all left on one person to score all night.
That's easy to say in 8-ball, but I
Yeah.
know in 9-ball, like you got to be on that score. So
Yeah, I've been having one person do it all night.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a lot.
exhausting.
That's exhausting.
because you
Yeah.
basically can't have a conversation with anyone.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good for the introverts.
Yeah. True. Well, okay. So that's maybe a segue to one of the most difficult parts of our job as captains is sometimes there is someone on the team that's maybe not working out. Anyone want to share an experience or share their sort of tips and tricks for folks on if you do have someone on the team that's sitting at the bar and not helping out or not pulling their weight? What do you do?
I mean, that for me it's the hardest if it's just someone where, like I said, I like the team to gel. And if it's someone that's just really not participating in the team, they're at the bar or they're on their phone the whole time, they're not really interacting at all with anybody. It's just a hard conversation to have, and it's only happened a couple of times since 2009 that I've captained, but I've just had to let people go, just say, it's not a fit. And it's a tough conversation because it's not like they did anything wrong, but yeah.
I think you have to set the expectations, especially when you're recruiting new people to the team. I typically try to describe what the current team dynamic is. We all show up even if we're not playing. We all try to contribute to scoring. Whatever our nuances on our team, I try to let people know up front what that looks like. We're all trying to, get to Vegas, so we are a competitive team. And then hopefully you find, the right fit that way. I did have an issue with one of my players who wasn't able to show up often. It was one of my highs, and I really needed my high there when I was still, 3 or 4 at 9-ball. And in that situation, I let him stay on the team because he's a firefighter and saving lives. Outside he had a job, and he genuinely expressed enjoying the team, in being there. So I think there's value in flexibility for people who are willing to adjust. And once I had the conversation of the expectations, I need you around more because we're struggling without anyone to do timeouts here. He showed up more and was more present.
And I think, being as honest as possible with that person, right? That they're just not, that they're not gelling with the team is probably best. Because I think that they will start to feel that you feel some sort of way about them. And that's going to show through their performance.
Yeah.
So I think just, having that conversation earlier than later, and when things get awkward, having that conversation is probably best. And if fortunately, sometimes you got to let people go, and that's okay. They can find a team that'll work better for them. But like I said, that chemistry is important. So I think communicating that early, setting those expectations early, and if not, then having that conversation with them early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being honest.
It's a really interesting dynamic I was just thinking about right now. But, when you're on a team, it's real easy at the end of the season to just say, well, I'm leaving. I'm going to go find another team. And there's no animosity taken by the captain. It's like it happens. People leave, they move, whatever. But the other way, it just feels so awkward as the captain to have to tell
You're so
someone
right.
that, it's just not really working with you on the team. It's hard.
It's
Yeah.
very
It's kind of
hard.
like quitting a job versus getting fired.
Yeah.
I think of it as firing volunteers. It's like, it's very difficult to do. And I've only had to do it once. And the only thing that will trigger me to have to let somebody go is their availability and not communicating that. Or if they are an aggressive loser, throwing their cue around, slamming their hands on the table.
We've
To
seen
me,
a lot
that's
of
a
this.
little embarrassing as a captain of somebody portraying themselves that way, representing the team in that aspect. But yeah, letting someone go from the team is very, very difficult. And it's just about having the conversation, setting the expectations, and it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, breaks my heart when I have to do it. But I do offer to help them find another team, every single time, because I like to do the matchmaking. I'm I know plenty of places where they would fit. It just wouldn't be with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I've had situations where I've had to let people go from the team and had them backlash against me, which makes it even more scary, either, just one-on-one via text messages or over Facebook. And that's never very fun.
No.
But luckily I had other captains come to my defense in that case. So
Yeah.
we never do it lightly, right? We always know that it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It affects more than just you and them. It's other people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of and this hasn't come up yet, but I know in one case I had to let someone go because they were causing issues with other teams, right? They were getting argumentative with the opponents. And given how this is supposed to just be fun and we're supposed to be good sportsmen and stuff like that, that was sort of a line that I had to draw.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. So since we brought up the issue of causing trouble with the opponents, one of our main roles as captains is to be the primary face with the opponents. What's your strategy when there is some drama or some conflict between you and the opposing team in some shape or form? Anyone have a style they're willing to share?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, unfortunately, I have one player who often sort of rubs the opponents the wrong way. It's not his intention, he says. It's just his style. And my thing is to try to tell him, stop talking to the opponent. I don't care if you think the opponent's wronged you or whatever. I'm the captain, and the other team members on our team saying you just need to stop and just let it go. It's easier said than done to get that person to listen, but that's what I try is just disengage. And of course, I always tell them, if you have a problem with the other team, you can take it to me, and I'll go speak to the other captain if you want.
Yeah.
But I don't want you speaking to them directly because it escalates,
Yeah.
and that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean, how about you?
Similar. I try to leave it between the captains. If I notice something going on, first thing I'll do is go and take the captain aside, or say, what we're seeing on our end, and maybe they can talk to their player first, rather than the two players disrupting their own game, and then maybe one of them stops playing as well, or just gets upset. So to take that aspect out of it, have their own teammate and their own captain kind of get involved first.
Yeah. Yeah. Ladies, any thoughts?
Gosh, I've been blessed enough to I haven't dealt with that yet, just yet. But I think now I'm learning, right? And so I think I would talk to the captain, let it be up to the captains to resolve it. And if we can't, then it would be the captains and then the two players that have a problem with it is get us together to talk about it. But like I said, I've been blessed enough where it hasn't come to that just yet. So
That's good.
yeah.
Same for me. I have not had to really mediate conflict where we have aggression on either side. There may be some small things I take the other captain aside for. So the most common scenario that kind of happens is you have a new player, lower skill level, doesn't know about the double hit foul. And maybe they do that a couple of times. I'm not the one that's like, they double fouled, so I'll typically take the captain aside and let them know, make sure you let your player know what that rule is and explain it to them, or take your time out because it's happened, 2 or 3 times already in this rack, something like that. But, and it's always been, I think when you just talk one-on-one, not try to make a scene, it's peaceful. There's not any reason to get dramatic about APA league night.
Yeah.
It must be me. Yeah. It must be me. I'm just thinking, how are you so lucky that you haven't had these circumstances? Because just in the last couple sessions of Double Jeopardy, there was an opposing team who was, really delaying the games, and it was not just one player that this was happening on. It was sort of a pattern, and even talking to the captain was not successful, and I had to send a note to the league and stuff. So it's not fun.
No, it's
Sometimes.
not fun at all. Exactly. Yeah. I've only had to, I think, jump in or kind of diffuse a situation a couple of times, and one of the times it was the other person that was being a bit aggressive towards us. They took something the wrong way that another teammate of mine was saying, and they were just coming at us. And I was like, there's not really a way to diffuse this. I just asked them to stop talking to us that way. And they weren't even the captain. I don't think the captain was there. So that's a whole nother thing, is who do you talk to in that situation if the captain isn't there and the next higher up is the one causing that issue?
Yeah.
I tend to retreat, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to deal with this right now, because I'm just there to have fun. We've all had a long day. Yeah. Last thing I go is, I don't want to go, someone's yelling at me because somebody smiled at them the wrong way.
Yeah.
Damn it. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
But I do, Sean had helped me one time with an opponent, of the team that we were playing. She did the double hit thing a few times, and we let the captain know of a different teammate that had done it earlier. And when I called her out on it both times, she was pretty aggressive and didn't like it. And the other team was coming at me. Sean did have to step in and help diffuse the situation. That was a little bit difficult because we were on the same team together at that time.
Yeah, it's like when it first happens, somebody is going to take it the wrong way. You just kind of have to either get them to stop talking about it, or say, this is what we're looking for in the future. Something that might trigger them to think, oh, well, okay, we'll look out for it. Just something to stop the situation from escalating at that point.
Yeah.
And then if they are aware ahead of time, maybe it won't happen again.
Yeah.
De-escalate.
Exactly.
I guess that's one of the skills we have to have as team captains.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's true.
I might need to work on that one. Okay, well let's sort of switch gears a little bit. So some of the decisions we make as captains are kind of, I don't know if crucial is the right word, but they're important decisions when you're facing your opponent. And so if you're willing to share your strategies with our audience, that'd be awesome. So one example is when you're and we talked about this earlier, when you're playing another team, they put up their player and you have an opportunity to match against the other player. Well, first, do you like to put up first, or do you like the other team to put up first? Anyone have a strategy?
I like to put up first.
Tell us why.
I like to put up first because it gives me control of if the second person loses, then who I'm going to put up next. My strategy is also never put up my high first. I've seen that happen a lot, even in nationals. People will put up their highs and they get thrown off on.
Oh, so, like blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll never put up my high first, and I'll always have a crutch to finish.
Like meaning like a clutch anchor person
Yes.
at the very end. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Anyone
Anchor.
else?
I kind of typically want to put up first if it's just regular league, but it does matter every time whether I have only 5 people there or if there are specific people who are going to be late. So you have to think about all aspects of it. You might want to put up first if you have everybody there, or you have multiple, say 3s, and it doesn't really matter, or if you have 3 possible 6s or something like that, where you can put up a high at that point, when you can always play another one later against who you thought they might end up playing.
Yeah.
But overall, I like putting up first.
Okay.
I think I go back and forth. It just depends on regular league night. I have lineups so only the 5 people are there, and if I know somebody has to play first and go, I try to accommodate that. And if we do win the coin flip, I will choose to put up first just to make sure that can happen. And I think when it comes to like a higher level tournament, I have my go-to person that is going to be like the sudden death person that I know that can handle that pressure.
Yeah.
That's really key for me. And I know the people that should not play last in a triannual championship. So I do structure it that way. But as far as putting up first or second, I figure out ways to work around it. Because, if you put up first, you're kind of in control of the last 2 rounds.
Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Not the second, not the third player, but the last 2
The
rounds.
fourth and fifth.
So
Yeah.
there's an advantage to that as well with throwing first. I really like that. Yeah.
Pretty much same of everything that's been said. Yeah, I think they've covered it all.
And I think it's important to note like how your strategy during regular league night versus when you're at nationals or when you're at like a bigger tournament, right? Like on league night, if you have somebody that likes to drink a lot,
Yeah.
you play them first before
Exactly.
they get to
You
you.
need to know that about your team. Yeah.
Yeah, or if you have someone who doesn't play well as it gets later, like
Right.
I like to play early.
Yeah, I have that situation too. Sometimes I'm a bit too tired to play fifth, and I think that was my issue last session. I was playing myself last in 9-ball a lot. I wasn't doing too well, so and I'm going to change that up this session and play like at least third or fourth.
Yeah, it's easy as the captains to sort of sacrifice your own needs for the sake of the team like that. So. Yeah. So how about throwing off? Like if they put up a 9, like a super 9, like a Sean, for example, or well, you 9.
It's a stretch.
Do you like to match up even, or do you like to throw off? Like any strategies there that you would share?
Well, regular season, I try to match up as even as possible because I just think people get the most fun out of it. Nobody wants to be like, I'm a 5. I don't want to play a 2, and I don't think the 2 wants to play me because I'm going to be playing a lot of safeties against it. So it's no fun for anyone. But when it gets to the higher level matches, then I will start using strategy like, well, I know someone who plays a lot of safeties, and if I put them, even if they're a 5 or a 6, up against a 2 or a 3, that 2 or 3 is probably going to be giving up ball in hand a lot, and that could be a big win. So I might I might do it there, but not in regular season. I try to keep it even.
Yeah.
Same for me. Definitely try to play as evenly as possible during regular season. I will say with the high level tournaments, I'm still learning a lot of lessons on the strategy, and I've had experiences where I've made a mistake as a captain. I should have definitely thrown off in this situation because this is the best player to put up for this matchup, regardless of skill level. And in that particular scenario, we were down by so many points, and then the third player in the match was a 3. And in that moment, I'm still in matchup mode, and for whatever reason, I made the call to play even when it should have been a 5 or higher that played against that 3 just to keep us
In the game.
in the game. So I know now for the future
Mhm.
how to kind of navigate that situation. But yeah, I think every mistake is a lesson learned.
It's so easy to beat ourselves up, though, because it's all on us. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a lot of a burden. That's a big burden to carry.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Anything can happen. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
Do you want to go? Oh.
Oh, yeah, my thoughts. Okay. So here's an interesting point, and everybody kind of touched on this. Playing differently, whether it's league match or higher level tournament. I could see a rationale for playing the same no matter what. And using the same strategy regardless, and being strategic every week. Because if you have a player, even like a 5 or a 6, and all of a sudden in triannuals, you're saying, okay, you're going to play a 2 because I know you can play safeties. That can be, even though it seems on paper like you should win, no, it's really a different mindset. And when you're not having that mindset all season, and now you're thrown into this pressure situation, that can be tough for a player.
Yeah.
So I could see a rationale for actually having that approach the whole season. And I see some teams and some captains that do that. They actually play strategically, especially when, and in our leagues, there's some people who are practically unbeatable. And throwing off against those unbeatable players can be helpful. So I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of look at that in a similar light. Is generally during regular league, I do keep it within 1 to 2 skill level range, I guess, because as a captain, I want to see how that 3 plays against a 5. Because if we are in a high level situation and that happens, it's like I know if they can handle it or not. But in regular league, I will ask that person. I'll be like, okay, there is going to be a 5 put up and you're a 3. How do you feel about playing that? I want to make sure they're comfortable with it first. And I usually play with people that don't care what skill level they play.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. Like we had someone on a team where brand new, never has played League in her life. And her very first match as a 0, a 3, they threw a 6 on her. And she handled it like a champ.
Yeah.
She lost, but I was just like, oh, okay, she's really well composed and will take on anybody. And I like to see that in teammates, or to know if that's not for them. But I don't really, as I say this, I don't really throw off too much. Like I don't throw a 3 against a 9 in 9 ball.
Yeah.
Can I just
Generally.
say, I never knew what throwing off was. Like, I didn't know what the strategy was there until I actually saw it. So before I became captain, my husband was captain, and he actually brought me into the pool scene. I didn't know what pool was. I didn't even know about the APA, and so we were in triannuals, and we were up, and so we could sacrifice a little bit. And he looked at me and he said, "I'm going to put you up. I don't want you to worry about winning. I just want you to make balls." And I said, okay. And I ended up winning. So I think when you, again, as a captain, you play a very important role as setting those expectations, right? Hi. You play a really important role of taking that pressure off of your teammate, right? And saying, just do your best.
Yeah.
Just make balls. That's all we expect of you. And again, I ended up winning that. It was a lot of rolls in my favor, and sometimes that happens, but hey, I'll take the win.
Exactly.
Totally. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Tater's trying to.
He's checking in to make sure we're on time.
Yeah.
Are we performing properly, Tater?
Tater's like, why aren't you petting me?
He's directing right now.
I want to talk about coaching though too, because that's actually part of it, right? And also, I've seen teams who coach differently, whether it's regular league match or a triannuals or playoffs or something.
Yeah.
What are folks' thoughts about jumping in to give a coach? Do you let your player call the coach in? Any preferences or strategies?
I definitely poll my players to see what their preferences. There are people who very clearly do not want to be timed out unless they call it. But in general, on my teams, everyone's okay with being called timeout, especially since we have a really good high skill level player that can do timeouts.
Mhm.
When or if he's not available, I've found I'm still getting comfortable with the role of coaching and timing out. And I've learned that it's a lot harder than you think it is. You have to think about the skill level of the player that you are coaching, what their capabilities are, and what um, I might be able to do. They they may not be able to do it or execute it, and you'll only have a minute to teach them what you're trying to say. So yeah, that is an area of improvement for myself as a captain, is just being more comfortable and also confident timing out. So right now I feel like I'm very limited to, maybe how to kick, a safety. It's getting better, but I found out very quickly I was not very good at giving timeouts when I started doing them.
It takes
So,
practice, I
it
think.
does.
It just like
Yeah.
playing, coaching
Yeah.
itself is something you got to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I've sort of changed over the past few seasons. I used to coach a lot. Like, I viewed that as, you're really helping get a leg up on the other team by jumping in there and telling a player to do something that they, if you're a 5 and they're a 3 or a 4, they wouldn't have thought of. Like, play a safety here instead of going for the ball. I know you can make the ball, but then you're going to be in a bad strategic position after that. And lately, though, I've actually been pulling back, just letting people make more of their own decisions. And the reason for that is that I noticed that when we were getting into playoffs, like a lot of the lower players, the skill level 3s, they had gotten used to always getting 2 timeouts frequently. And then we would go to playoffs or triannuals, they wouldn't perform well without those. And in a sense, maybe I was even boosting their skill level because they were winning more due to the coaches that they wouldn't have after. But our team has been doing worse regular season without the coaches. So still trying to figure this one out.
God, this is such an interesting topic. There'd be times where, and it's always funny when you play with your significant other because you can get, you're a little bit more open to getting mad at them. But I remember I was playing and then I made this shot and Tommy knew that I was going to scratch and he let me do it. He didn't call timeout. And I looked at him and I just was like, why didn't you tell me? Because you know I was going to scratch. And I'm like, he's like, why didn't you? And to your point, he told me, if I don't let you scratch, you would never learn from that. I could tell you all day you're going to scratch, but unless you actually experience it, you're not going to really learn. So it's learning from your mistakes. But to weigh in, I usually don't have our players call the timeout themselves unless they really, really are stuck because we want to try to reserve those. We let and I never call the timeouts for my players because I don't have that experience. I let my higher skill level players do the timeouts themselves. But I try to tell our team to try to be open as possible. That when they call a timeout, it's to just be open minded about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think it all goes back to what Michelle said earlier, that setting the expectation of it.
Right.
I mean, I came in thinking I was going to say the same thing about being a captain, is setting those expectations. If you kind of prepare your players to like look for guidance when they need it, or even throughout their match, you kind of can be in their ear telling them what to look for, then they're going to be more open to asking you for help later, or whoever the coach or captain is.
Yeah.
But if you just leave them to their own devices, they're going to either fail or thrive, but not really want to look out for any help.
Yeah.
They won't be open to it either.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunity with taking the time in between turns to coach and timeout or coach as well.
Like on the sidelines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we can often anticipate a situation. We can often anticipate, if you get ball in hand here, we can set up, and then you can actually save some timeouts by talking to your players in between other turns. So I always try to do that as well. If you get ball in hand here, they're trying to kick at something, set up the cue ball here and go for that pocket.
Yeah.
At least get them started on their next shot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go.
But as far as like giving a timeout, I'm still trying to get comfortable with doing that at my skill level. I don't mind timing out and giving safety advice because I really enjoy safeties and I feel like I see them pretty well. But other ones when I'm like, you have to line someone up other than just doing that cue stick measure thing, I don't feel comfortable with like, you got to put this spin on it because it's like, yeah, it might be something I try, but I'm not quite there yet to be able to offer that. But I will say in a higher stakes tournament, if there's like a couple people on your team that offer coaching, I have that person pick their timeout buddy before they start their match because they might communicate better or they understand the way that they show them the stuff or they know how to make the shot more attainable at their skill level as opposed to maybe someone up here that might not be able to dumb it down a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say that a lot of times I find it helps to try to have a coach that's within 2 skill levels of the player shooting, no more than 2 higher, because a lot of times, as I think Michelle said, like they lose track of what it was like if a 6 is coaching a 2, what it was like to be a 2 if they were ever even a 2. And they tell them to do something which is not in their capabilities, and it's a bad result. And I also let my team members know, I don't know about a buddy, but I say, whenever you call a timeout, anybody you want, no one's going to be offended. Go with, whomever you want. But a pet peeve of mine and some other captains that I know is that if we call a timeout, whether it's the captain or some other higher skill level on the team, and you go up to tell the person who's shooting, and they are not receptive at all, like from the get-go, I don't need a coach, I don't need a timeout, and then and they're burning through the seconds by arguing with you, and then even if you tell them what to do very specifically, they're just not receptive, and if they do it angrily, and so then they miss it because they did it angrily.
And they blame it on you.
Well,
anyway.
they want to be right.
They'll blame it on you. If it goes well, you don't. From some players, you don't get the thanks. But when it goes wrong, they completely blame you. And those type of players, for me, I either need to mold them to become receptive, or they can't really stay on the team. Because as a team, if we want the team to do well as a whole, everybody has to be willing to accept timeouts and take the advice.
Because I think when there's people on the sidelines, and it could be at the same skill level, we're like a step back. We're a little bit removed. We have some objectivity, and we might see things on the table that they can't see themselves because they're sort of in the thick of it. And so it's really, I agree with you, Mark. It's kind of leaving money on the table if you don't use your coaches at all, ever. I mean, clearly you don't need to intervene all the time. And I also am working on not intervening all the time. But if you never use them, or if you're never receptive, you're missing out on new perspectives. And so
I have a question. How do you guys feel about timing out the high skill level players like Sean? If somebody calls a timeout on you as a skill level 7-8 or a 7-9, does that annoy you, or do you see it as any sort of like other kind of opportunity?
I've never been opposed to it. I mean, somebody might see something differently. That's it. You just have to think of it as that. If they're adamant about learning as well, you can just bring them up and show them what I might show somebody what I'm going to do, and if they have any input after they see that, they could even learn from it. Like, maybe they'll tell me, "Oh, that's a great idea. I just thought you were going to scratch," something like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your style towards captaining, whether it's kind of democratic or are you kind of authoritative? Do you have like a trusted co-captain? Like, What is your style in sort of managing the team? Anyone want to get us started?
I definitely have a co-captain to help me. I like the team to weigh in. I think it's important. I think it's helpful for the dynamics of the team. So that's my style. I'm not really you have to do this kind of person. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyone have a differing?
Well, I think for me, I like to do all the planning and I like to make the decisions, which is strange because I'm not a very strong decision maker outside of doing something like this. But I do have a co-captain, and I will ask them their opinion on things when we have to change players, or if I am wavering between maybe two people to play on a particular match, I will weigh in. But I don't usually have the whole team weigh in on who should be playing when, because I mean I study my players and when they're going to do well in most situations, and I try to pick the best person for that opportunity to play. But can I just share a quick little pet peeve? Is I don't like when when people on the group team chat are telling me, oh, this is who we're playing, we should play these people. Or this is who should play this week. It's like, well, you can be a captain of your own team. If you want to make the decision on who plays, it's like, I like to be in control of that usually. Yeah.
It's so funny that you say that because my team is so indifferent. It's like they don't want a lot of. I mean, they'll weigh in if they want to weigh in and stuff like that. But a lot of the times they like to be told.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be like, well, I don't know, whatever you think. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because they're there to show up and just play. And sometimes it's like, and I like being on teams like that where I don't have to make any decisions. That's why I'm only captain of one team. Is like I can only do it once a week. Like multiple nights a week, too much. I just want to be told when to show up and told when to play. But when it's my team and I'm the captain, I'll step back a bit.
Back off.
just kidding.
Mark or Sean?
I mean, generally, like I said, as far as who's going to play, I put it out there in advance, couple days, who wants to play, regular thing. But when it does get to the competitive, triennials, whatnot, I will put a lot of thought into it. And I will come up with a lineup that I think is best to serve the team. If I'm debating, who might be the best, and, maybe I've got 3 or 4 players I know should play, but who should be the 5th or whatnot, I might put it out to a few members of the team that I really trust to get their opinion. But I did have an incident I would like to about once where there was a player who played like the most or the second most throughout the season. The player always wanted to play, and they got to play as much as they wanted. But then it got time for playoffs, and I did not play that person. I did not think that person would do well, and I think, we would lose. And we won, but that person blew up at me. I mean, just, I deserve to be played, and saying so we advanced then to triennials or cities, I don't remember which, but the person was saying, I will play at that event. And at that point, I had to let the person go because it's, I am the captain, and, in the end, I have to make the decision that I think is best for the team. And I tried to have fun throughout the season, but, they will have to find another team that's more collaborative or start their own.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
So.
Yeah. We take on the burden and the overhead of being captain. That is our benefit, right? Like,
I'm pretty democratic when it comes to adding members to the team. So I'm definitely running by the team who the new person is. As far as lineups are concerned, I do the organization of putting that lineup out there. And I always kind of put, if anyone feels differently, feel free to weigh in. But nobody on my team really, opposes anything that I've said. There are a few times where I'm looking at all the stats. So I'm looking at my players, I'm looking at the opponents, who they've won against the previous weeks, how they're doing to figure out that lineup. So there is thought put into to those lineups on a weekly basis. But the other thing that I like to do that influences my decision to play one person or another is I do try to see who's in the running for MVP, and I try to set them up for success, for perfect session or MVPs. I'm looking at all those individual things to make the lineup for that night, and it's worked out pretty well.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with me to an extent, but still keeping the team in general as the overall goal of winning. If it comes down to, like, even if I'm going for MVP or something, I'll still play myself against the highest level on the opposing team rather than getting the easy win more often than not. Every once in a while, it doesn't matter. Maybe a couple of my teams, there are a couple high levels. Then they can take one of the high levels and I get somebody who I feel like is my better chance of winning, and then the team will win as well. But yeah, it's a balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes best laid plans, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The universe has something to say about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, well, a couple of you mentioned some stories or some pet peeves. Anyone else have a pet peeve of being a captain?
Having to collect fees
Oh,
when someone doesn't want to pay. I'm not a bill collector, guys. We're all adults.
yeah.
Pay your APA fees.
Yes.
Communication is a big one for me.
Yes.
A couple players will just kind of disappear, go MIA for a little bit. You're not sure if they're showing up or not. And again, I'm a planner, so I really like to look at the lineup, have it planned, and then when you hear maybe just the morning of or afternoon, hey, I'll be there tonight, kind of throws off my plans.
Yeah.
So just communication. And if you're going to be off the radar for a bit, that's fine. But if you just communicate that ahead of time, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think I've said all my pet peeves already.
Yeah, I already mentioned a couple. Communication is definitely one of them. And I think just like the reasons that I would remove someone is, if they were aggressively, responding to the losses as or misses with being, I don't know what the word is, slamming the tables or.
Yeah, just getting really.
Yeah, that is
sport.
a pet peeve of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Sean, any pet
Same.
peeves?
It doesn't happen often, but I'd say dealing with people who give up in their match or don't try their hardest because something's going wrong, whatever it is. It's hard to corral them back in.
They get a bit salty.
I want to say sorry because I do that.
The
Teammates here.
teammates reel you back in, so we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell when somebody just slams a ball repeatedly after, maybe they just feel like they're going to lose no matter what, and it's hard to reel them back in. So that's the only thing is if your teammate does that, or if your whole team doesn't know to step in and kind of calm them down and help them get back into the right mindset, that part's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when people get very defeatist or, it can bring the whole team down, sort of going back to that team morale. Everyone needs to sort of manage their own emotions a little bit and keep fighting no matter where they're at in the match. And especially like in 9-ball, for example, every ball counts. So even if you're behind, still fight for all those points.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, if you were giving advice to someone who was thinking about becoming an APA captain, what advice might you give them?
I'd say recruit well. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
that's the biggest
That's a
part of
good
it.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I would say be organized. I feel like there's a lot involved with collecting the money and
Get your spreadsheets going.
get your spreadsheets going. But there are captains that they don't do that and it works out for them just as much. But
Yeah.
Yep. Be prepared to put some time in. I think it takes more time than people who haven't captained don't realize how much time it takes to have everything organized, make sure everyone shows up, collect the money, plan the lineups, especially for the higher level tournaments and stuff like that. But I agree with what they said. I mean, recruiting, that's number one,
Number one.
and I prefer to recruit. Like if someone says I know someone that would gel on your, I mean, that's number one. I don't care if they're, a skill level 2 or skill level 6. I just want someone that's really going to do well with the team and have a good dynamic, so that there are no drama. I don't like drama on my teams. And,
People's
Yep.
skills
I-
easier to fix than somebody's attitude.
I agree 100% with that. Yep.
For me, that's different from what's already been said. I think I like the getting to know all of the players and their capabilities. I think knowing your team well and what they can do helps you with your strategy. It helps you with your lineups. So that's the advice I would give.
For me, I think it would be, I think what you guys mentioned, chemistry and communication means everything. And what has not already been said? Oh, I think, chemistry and communication means everything.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, we have reached our favorite segment of the Lucky Breaks podcast, which is the Magic 8 Ball. So does anyone have a burning question in their mind about pool or about the next captain's tournament? Does everybody have captain's teams lined up? I do not, but I'm not a captain anymore. So. Anyone have a question?
I mean, mine
Aaron,
would
can
be
you
the
grab
mine would be the. Oh yes, okay. Magic 8 Ball. Please give me the answer. Hoping for a yes. Will our 9-ball team win triannuals in a week and a half and advance 2 cities?
Ask me later.
Ask me now.
You do it again.
I'll ask
It's
again.
later.
Will we advance to the cities?
You know the answer.
Yes.
Very avoidant. Very avoidant.
So vague.
I
yeah.
actually had the same question.
I would kick this
Okay,
one
well,
off
you can
the
ask.
team.
Maybe you'll get a different answer. Give it to Michelle.
All right.
And hold it next to the microphone when you...
Okay. Well, Baxter and Company 3.0 advance and triannuals to the World Qualifier this summer.
I have no idea.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
That's
okay.
useless.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's go, Aaron.
And he's quite happy about it.
I know. He's very happy. I'm going to go with, will my 9-ball team on Tuesdays make it in the top 5 in our session?
Everything indicates yes.
All right.
All right.
Finally,
I'm
a
holding it
definitive
to you
answer.
guys. Do you want to go?
I'll go. I'll be more generic.
Yeah.
So, will I ever captain a team that makes it to Vegas again?
Ask me later.
Ask again.
It's later.
The answer is yes.
Okay. My question is, will my shoulder be recovered enough in time for BCA in Vegas next month?
Please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank God. Because I'm really nervous. All right, Melissa, now you have my
Will my Monday team make it to Vegas?
Most likely a no.
I'm going to prove this wrong. We're going to prove this wrong.
Prove it wrong.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for this very energizing conversation about being a captain. I think I will have to find a new team to captain very soon. And thank you so much for being on the podcast. We appreciate you so much. And we'll see you all next time on the Lucky Breaks podcast.
That wraps up another episode. A big thank you to our guest for joining us today and sharing their story. If you want to connect with our guest, their contact info can be found in the show notes for this episode. Also, please show your support by liking and subscribing. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Lucky Breaks podcast. You can find more episodes at youtube.com/@LuckyBreaksPodcast or by searching for Lucky Breaks on your favorite podcast player. This episode was produced by Sue Leader, Aaron Schulman, Beth Jung, and Michelle Hughes. Thank you for your support. Sign up to be a guest on a future episode from our YouTube channel page.